Yesterday, to mark 100 days until the Paris Summer Olympics, I spoke with men's basketball managing director Grant Hill. He is, of course, NBA Hall of Famer, 7-time All-Star, and he won a gold medal with the U.S. national team in the 1996 games. And this year, he added to his team ownership empire as part of the group that purchased baseball's Baltimore Orioles. I asked Grant Hill which job he enjoys the most.
I think I kind of like this the best. And it is fun, it's exhilarating, it's challenging, it's basketball. You get to roll up your sleeves, you compete. They're all great. They're all great investments, great experiences, great roles and responsibilities. But representing your country, assembling a roster, managing a team, put the coaching staff together, all the responsibilities and duties that are involved, this might be the thing I enjoy the most.
Oh, so is this more or less pressure, though? Because there's a feeling of inevitability of gold. No?
Yeah, no, there's a standard. And I think fans, we expect to win. We expect to win. We invented the sport. We've had great success through the years in the Olympic Games. So there's an expectation. But at USA Basketball, we have an expectation as well. And so I think we recognize how hard it is and how difficult the task is. But that's why we're here. That's why we were very thoughtful about this roster. Spent a lot of time preparing, putting it all together. And that's pretty much the feeling, like it's gold or bust in a lot of ways.
Is there any more pressure because this may be the last dance for, Kevin Durant and LeBron and a Curry all together, for example?
Yeah, I think, first of all, anytime USA Basketball, men's or women's team play, there's this pressure and there's an expectation. I think when you have players who've really been the face and the driving force of the NBA for over a decade, and the end is near. They still have a lot of basketball left in them, but this may be their last opportunity to play in the Olympic stage. There's a feeling we have to get it done. They have to go out with a bang. And you know what? These guys like pressure. When you're great like these players are, and really all the guys on our team, you don't run from pressure.
Right.
Pressure brings greatness out of you.
There's something different about putting this kind of team together that's different than putting together an NBA team that's gonna play for a whole season?
Yeah, first of all, it's different. The NBA, there's rules, and you have to have cooperation and draft and trade, and so you can't sort of hand-pick exactly who you want to be on your roster. We certainly have had that luxury this year with the overwhelming response and so many guys wanting to be a part of it. But it's a different game, it's a different league, a different set of rules, different style of play. So what leads to success in the NBA doesn't always resonate to the FIBA game. And so you have to keep that in mind while assembling a roster.
Okay, so what's a different kind of player that you'd want on this kind of team that you wouldn't want on an NBA team?
Well, I think when you speak to the game and what the FIBA game is, it's much more physical. The rules are different. The spacing is different. Every possession is more important. It's more, you don't have the luxury of easing your way into the game that you sometimes can do in the NBA. How the game is officiated is much different. So these various nuances, these various rules that are in place in FIBA, it takes a minute. And so physicality, size is important. It's more. So those are some of the things that play a role.
What about managing all the superstar egos together? How different? And by the way, since we're talking about business, all of the various sponsorships and responsibilities that each of these players may think they very well have while they're playing.
Well, look, we have guys who are businesses in themselves, and certainly have been very accomplished, very successful both on and off the court. And being on this stage, on this platform in the Olympics, with all of their partnerships that they have and all their business relationships, I would make the assumption that it's good for business.
Right. No, it is good for business.
It's good for business.
But I wonder whether it's competing business. I will never forget when Jordan put that American flag over his shoulder.
He did, yeah. Well, he did. And, but you know what? That moment, him on the medal stand back in 1992.
It's the greatest.
It's a great moment.
It was the greatest.
It was great for Nike. It was great for the Olympics. It was great for the USOC, USA Basketball, everybody involved benefited from it. And so, yeah, sometimes there's competing relationships, but we all are respectful. The main thing is the Olympics, and everyone understands the significance of it. And everyone, I think, sees the value in having one of their players that they're in partnership with there.
Just want to ask you about the Caitlin Clark effect.
Okay.
On basketball broadly, but on women's basketball. I mean, where do you think women's basketball is headed?
You know, women's basketball, it's at an inflection point, I think. And I think we're seeing it about to take off. And certainly Caitlin Clark, what she has done the last couple of years, similar but different to like a Stephen Curry with the shooting and the deep range and the joy and the love that she plays with. All of those things have factored in and brought in viewers who haven't maybe traditionally or historically watched. The reality is there's been great women's basketball for 30 years. I think Elisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, Dawn Staley, I mean, all these, Sue Bird, all these athletes who played. I think now we're just getting the attention. People are watching, paying attention. And so Caitlin Clark, Dawn Staley, South Carolina. Dawn's actually been three-time Olympian, Olympic coach. So Caitlin has kind of spearheaded that, and I can't wait to see what the next 5-10 years are.
When you
for
look at
basketball.
WNBA, I mean, by the way, as a basketball team owner, do you say, as a sports owner, do you say that's where this is all going to go? Meaning, where the big investment's going to pay off in the future?
I think there's great upside in women's sports. I'm also an owner in the NWSL team and the MLS, but I tried to buy the Atlanta Dream back in 2016. I did unsuccessfully. But I believe in the upside. I believe that, look, the NBA is 75 years old. It took about 35 years for it really to kind of get established and really become a part of sort of the American culture and take off in the 80s like it did. And you know what? We're kind of almost at the 30-year point for the WNBA. And so I think there's many great years in front of us. Our best years in the WNBA are in front of us.
And you can catch the